so hello my lovelies. Obviously I know 8 years is a really long time to hold on to something. It's also a really long time to release something as well. I know that sometimes like we look at the time and we're like 8 years, like whether that be a relationship, our hair, a job, whatever the case would be, 8 years feels like a very long time. This is like so random because I'm in my car right now. I actually need to go to Ulta Beauty, so disregard the fact that I'm in a parking lot. But I did get a couple people asking me why I cut my locks, and I did also notice that when I did put up my lock cutting Instagram post, a lot of people responded to it very positively. I even had, conversations reminiscent of what I was kind of going through right before I cut my locks. So I just wanted to come and make a video on why I cut my locks. When I started my lock journey, I definitely was like, I'm starting these locks and I don't see myself cutting them ever. Like, it was supposed to be like, we're doing this for the long haul. My locks really symbolize the rebirth of my spirituality. It symbolized like just a rebirth of who I was. Like, there was a lot of things that I had let go in that time, and my locks just felt like a lock and key to like what I was becoming. So like in that time, I had stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped listening to certain artists. I had moved from LA at the time. I still was back and forth there, but like I was no longer living in LA. I was very intentional with like my meditation, my hiking. Hindsight is crazy because now I look at it and I was like definitely in preparation for the fact that I was becoming a mom, like pretty much right after that. So like my locks really symbolize a transformation for me. The first thing that I automatically assumed with my locks is that I was just neglecting them. I feel like I had physical signs of like neglect with my locks because, before I had my daughter, I was doing my hair like on a not weekly, but like every 6 weeks, every 4 to 6 weeks, I was retwisting my hair. I was wetting my hair daily. I was moisturizing it with water. I was very intentional with my locks on the upkeep of them, keeping them healthy. And, once I, got pregnant, I got sick during my pregnancy. And that is a video that one day we will talk about because my freaking pregnancy was actually really crazy. I actually almost died giving birth, but we will save that for another video. But anywho, I wasn't taking care of my locks the same way that I was before becoming a mom. And at first I just felt like, they're just looking beat down, and I had tried to pour love into them. I remember around my birthday last year, I tried to make them boho locks. So I had added hair to the bottom of them so they had like the whole boho feel because I was trying my hardest to make me fall in love with them again. But I just couldn't pinpoint why they just looked so beaten down. And I was just basically telling myself my locks were looking like survival mode. And it's like, even though this has been a very trying last year for me, it's just like, I don't believe in looking like what you're going through. Like, I believe that in order to get to your next journey, that does not mean that you gotta look like the world is on your shoulders. That's me personally. I believe that like you should still pour into yourself, because when you're pouring from an empty cup, we all know that gets you absolutely nowhere. So I believe that when you are at your lowest point, that's when you actually need to pour into yourself more. But at the time, I wasn't necessarily giving myself the needed self-care and the needed energy and time that my body needed. And I feel like my locks started to reflect that. And like me looking at that, I was like, absolutely not. Like, I am the person who goes to bed looking cute. Like, I do my eyebrows before I go to sleep, like boop boop, like comb them up. Like, I like to have my baby hair done for bed. I like to have a cute bonnet. I like cute pajamas. Like, I believe that we should feel good in our skin at all times, whether that be when you're awake or in your deepest slumber. So when I started noticing that my locks were just looking so defeated, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, maybe I need to cut them and start over. So that was the first thing. Then the second thing was like, I started just having like this pull to cut them. Like, I was just like, you know what? I done been through major heartbreaks and disappointment and just holding on to that energy just felt so backwards for me. I know there's a lot of people, and I guess I say this to say, if you're someone who's going to look for inspiration or, you know, something that resonates with you, if you're looking to cut your locks, I get it, because I did at one point as well. And I remember seeing so many videos where it was just like, hair doesn't hold energy, like that's a lie, all of you guys like just using that as an excuse, yada yada, cut your locks off. And it's like, first of all, who are you to tell somebody what their hair represents to them? Like, if you choose to say that hair is an energy, I love that for you, cool. But if somebody believes that their hair holds on to energy, I don't believe that you should be telling them that it does not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe everybody is free to believe whatever the heck they want to believe. Anyways, I say that to say, I started feeling like my hair was holding on to a lot of energy that I no longer wanted to hold. I can't describe it, but it just felt like my hair was holding on to like all of my disappointments, all of my traumas, like all those things. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm ready to cut this cord, because cord cutting is real. And I believe that is in so many facets of life. But I do believe hair is a cord cutting thing as well. So I was just like, you know what? I have to release my locks, because I feel like my antennas, my extensions of me, they've seen my trauma, they've felt my trauma. My hair has grown out during that time. And I just feel like with locks, it's so much different than natural loose hair, just because, you know, I just feel like natural loose hair, you can comb it. You're releasing the shed hair. Like, you know, hair has a cycle. So every day you're shedding and releasing hair that is no longer meant to be on your head. But with locks, that shed hair is literally just staying entrapped in your hair, in your locks, you know? So it's like, you're never really shedding with locks. And I just felt like I was holding on to all of those things. And I just couldn't figure out like how I was gonna release it. I tried detoxing them. I tried, you know, praying. I've tried, you know, saging my locks, all of that stuff. But it's just like, for me, hair holds energy and it holds memory. And I felt like my locks were showing me all the signs of both of those. And I was like, absolutely not. You're holding on to stuff that I want no parts of. Now, rewind, because there's more. So after I had Zara, I had got my blood work done and I was told I needed to have an iron transfusion. At the time, I wasn't really thinking what that really meant, how serious that was, even though I should have been way smarter at that time, knowing damn well that that was very serious. Because I, again, even though we'll touch on this on a different video, my pregnancy got really crazy around month 4, month 5, because Zara was pulling too much iron from me. Fast forward to postpartum, my doctor was like, you need to get a transfusion because you're there, like you're heavily anemic. So I was gonna get it done. Everything was supposed to work out, yada yada yada. And then life hit and some real crazy shit happened. Crazy stuff. And next thing I know, my health is on the back burner because I totally forgot about it. Now it's like, okay, I'm back on the East Coast. And my daughter's now experiencing her family on the East Coast. Everything just seemed like it was going so fast. And honestly, I totally forgot about those iron transfusions. Okay. So now we fast forward to maybe like 6 months ago. And I was just looking at my locks and they were down. And I was just like, you know what? Like, they just don't look right. Like, they just literally just feel like they're limp. They're not laying right. I feel like the only style I could actually do that I feel cute with is an updo. But at the same time, constantly doing an updo, I felt like I was losing my edges because I lost a lot of my edges postpartum. So then here I am putting my hair constantly in a ponytail every 2 seconds. And I'm like, this obviously isn't helping me because I still haven't bounced back from the hair loss on my edges from postpartum. Anyways, I have the most amazing doctor now. Like, she's absolutely amazing. She's so thorough. She wants to know everything that's going on with your body. So we did my blood work and she was just like, girl, you have no iron storage in your body. Like, you are severely deficient, like she was like, you damn near don't have any iron in your body. She was like, we need you to get a transfusion like today. Like, that's how extreme it was. And I had no ferritin storage. And ferritin is linked to your hair and your hair growth. And when she said that, I was just like, oh, okay, like, all right. But she hadn't known that when she told me this, I literally had cut my locks the day before she told me, like, you have no ferritin storage. You are severely anemic. You are severely iron deficient. Like, this is like an emergency. I had already cut my locks off and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm still thinking like there's time to bounce back. And then I was just like, you know what? I need to get my hair cut because, you know, I was just chopping it all emotional. Maybe I'll add a clip, maybe I won't. And, you know, I didn't realize until I got my hair straightened and cut, I had no fucking hair. Like, I had lost so much hair. Like, this is not even funny. It's not even a joke because my intuition had been telling me to cut my locks for, I want to say, like a cool 6-7 months. Like, it was on me heavy and I couldn't figure out why all of a sudden, like, my locks that I loved so much, my locks that were a part of my journey, all of a sudden my intuition's like, you gotta cut your locks. But really, it was my body crying out to me that, girl, something is wrong. And the only way that you would know that is if you were a loose natural, because you would have seen that you were losing globs of hair. But because I was locked, I had no idea. I was literally losing hair. Like, so when I got my hair flat ironed, it was so disheartening. Like, when she finished, I wanted to fucking cry. Like, she was so excited and so happy because she doesn't really work with like short hair too much. And she's never done my hair that short before. I've known her literally since I was a kid. Like, that's how long she's been doing my hair. And she was just happy because she was like, look, I got it straight and it's short and I cut it, blah, blah, blah. But she's an older lady too. So like how she cut it, I was looking fucking crazy. I was looking like, I don't even know what to describe it as, but it was a direct opposite of a pixie cut. Like, it was like, I don't even know, right? But anyways, really, what could you do with it anyways? Because I was missing so much hair. Even though I didn't see some hairstylists do some amazing things with pixie cuts with people with thin hair. So if you go to the right lady, you could get what you need to get done. But anyways, I digress. So basically, when she finished doing my hair, I was like, oh my God, this is what my doctor was talking about. I don't have no ferritin. I don't have no iron in my body. Like, my body has been literally screaming to me to cut my locks so that I would take my health serious. And I literally was just being careless and neglectful in the sense that I wasn't listening to my intuition, even though I always do listen to my intuition. Fast forward, I now had realized that my hair was pretty much gone. Like, I'm not bald, obviously I have braids in, but as far as like my thickness and my density, like, crazy difference. Sometimes I feel like your intuition is trying to tell you something without being able to directly tell you something. And I feel like my intuition was screaming so hard to cut my locks, not necessarily just for like, ooh, release, you know, your trauma and release your breakups and release the emotional baggage. No, it was like, girl, you're sick right now. Like, I need you to see these signs real quick. And I couldn't because I was locked. So I say that to say, if you got this intuition on you that's telling you you need to cut your locks, like, you may actually really need to pay attention to your health. It could be something as serious as what it was for me, because I don't know how I allowed myself to forget how bad my iron was right after birth with Zara, to literally, Zara's about to be 4 this year. Like, so I let 3 years, almost 2 years go by before being like, oh, I was supposed to do this. Don't be like me. But the next thing is why I cut my locks. The freedom that I felt when I cut my locks. Like, don't get me wrong, I cried. I bawled my eyes out when I cut that first lock. I bawled my freaking eyes out because my locks represented such a beautiful chapter of my life. And by beautiful, I mean the solitude, the learning about myself, the time I spent alone, the deeper I got with my crystals and meditation. Like, it represented something so beautiful in my life. So cutting it really felt like, I can't even describe what that felt like. It didn't even feel like it was just hair at that point. It felt like somebody was cutting a part of my heart off of me. Until you do it, I guess you wouldn't know. I don't know how to describe it. But when I finished cutting my locks, I just felt so free. Even though for me, short hair is not the end goal. Healthy hair is the end goal. But at the same time, even though I'm not a short hair mommy, like I feel like there's girls that slay short hair and I love that for them. I still felt so much like release, so much freedom, so much just like, I could breathe again. You know, like, and I rocked my short hair for like 2 weeks. And then I eventually got my braids in. Felt like I freed myself from something. And I can't explain what that means or what that feels like until you do it. But I felt, and still to this day, I feel free. I guess I want to touch on this too, because again, I know I did already, but sometimes I feel like we hold on to stuff because we're like, no, like I need to keep going. Like I'm 8 years in, like I could be in this for a lifetime. Like, why do I need to release this? Like I could detox, I could do this, I could do that. And it's like, no, sometimes things have an end to the chapter. Like some things aren't meant to be your book of life. Some things are literally only meant to be a couple, in my case, 8 chapters. I say 8 chapters to represent each year. But sometimes literally things are only meant to be temporary. For me, I felt so free and I still feel really free. And the thing about it is, it's not like I'm saying I would never get locks again. Like I love my locks down. I love the lock girlies down. I love seeing locks. I love everything about them, what they stand for. I love it all. But in this chapter, in this period of my life, I just feel like I need to just experiment with what it's like not to have locks. What it's like to just wash my hair. Like, oh my God, I remember washing my hair for the first time without locks was so invigorating. Like, I can't even just, I was just like scratching my scalp. There was no real hair to detangle. I was just like in awe. Like it just felt like, oh my God, this is self-care, right? You know, I got to a point where my locks, they were so heavy when I would wash them. So I would say I was like mid back length when they were wet because they were longer than bra strap. As you can imagine, the weight that I feel or felt sometimes after wetting my locks was a lot. And again, for a mommy like me who's going through postpartum hair loss, like any extra tension is not tension that I need, on top of the fact that I was already losing hair because I didn't have any iron, you know? So it felt so good just scratching my scalp, getting in there. And even like just brushing, I had a little unbrush and I was just like, you know, just going in it. And I was just like, oh my God, I felt like I forgot what it felt like to like brush my hair. So it felt good. I mean, I guess those are the main reasons why I cut my locks. But I think the biggest thing for me, the sign was my intuition. My intuition just kept telling me, Linda, it's time, it's time. And I kept trying to just prolong it and fall in love with them again. I tried to dye them black. I tried to add the boho hair. I tried so many things, but your intuition never lies. Your intuition is your voice of God, and you need to listen to it. Say that to say, if there's anybody feeling like you're ready to cut your locks off, there's probably a reason for it. And even if it's not health related and it's just related to who you are in this period of your life, be okay with that, because we are not meant to stay the same people. Some people are able to keep their locks for their whole life, and I think that is beautiful, and they transform themselves in other ways. But if your transformation is through your hair, that is okay. It is okay. If you ever want locks again, you can get them again. Like, I already started researching locks again. Like, there's a possibility I may have locks tomorrow. I don't fucking know. But I do know that those locks were no longer meant to be my locks. And I held on to them for like a good month after cutting them, until one day I was finally like, I would never reattach these back to my head, because this is no longer my weight to carry. I say that to say, I love you guys. If you feel like cutting your locks, do it. If you don't, and you just watch this video just to know why I did it, I appreciate you as well. Yeah, I hope you guys have a marvelous day or night, whatever time it is. I will be on YouTube more now. I know I've been slacking, but you know what? I wanted to take care of my baby. Like, honestly, postpartum was very crazy, and I just felt like I wanted to pour into myself and my baby. And now that like she's about to be 4, it's like, okay, I'm ready to be back present for myself and make time for the things that I love as well. So I hope you guys have a marvelous day or night, whatever time it is. I will see you lovelies later, and I'm just so excited to be back. I can't wait to connect with you guys again. And yeah, I do miss that part about YouTube. So yeah, I hope that answered the question for some of the people who asked me why I cut my locks off. So bye guys.